Hey, Shirley.
Greetings, folks. This is Mason Weaver. I'm here with
Hey, Shirley.
my, my co-anchor, Kimberly Jeffries, and another segment of Can Your King Find You? I want to start off today by saying that we need to talk about what we're doing here in a little while. And was inspired by my late wife because what a great marriage that I had, and I want other people to have that kind of marriage, what God intended marriage to be like. So I talk about it a lot. Before she passed away years ago, we used to do seminars together around the country with couples, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And we learned a lot because we listened to couples. And we often ask the question, why was it that in Mark 10, verse 8, God said that a man should leave his mother and father and cling to his wife, and they become one flesh. And I often ask the question, why didn't God say they become one spirit instead of one flesh? Because we have both the spirit of God in us and we have flesh in us too. And the flesh is sinful. The flesh is carnal and the spirit is not. So why did God have us come together as flesh, one flesh, and not one spirit? And maybe one day we'll delve into that. We may talk about tonight if there's a question on it. Um, but also, the Bible talks about the spirit, and it's the constant battle between man and woman over the spirit. So maybe one day we get into that battle. That's really the battle. The battle is really between man and God and woman and God, and not us and God. So we're going to start the program off by welcoming all our guests. We want to make sure that you understand that this is a private meeting from our organization. And if you come online from Facebook, you're coming online from our private group, Can Your King Find Us? We're here every Wednesday, and we're going to be here every Wednesday until you stop coming. And we're going to talk about relationships, and we're all adults. If you faint from adult conversations, you're on the wrong spot because we're going to talk about the real deal. I'm going to turn to my co-host, Miss Kimberly. Anything you want to add to us? I'll have you on mute. Now let's see. Wait, I can hear you, dear. You're still on mute.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I said you're on a roll tonight. That was really deep. We'll have to get that question next time when you talk about one flesh instead of one spirit. That, see, Mason, stuff just seeps out of you. Nuggets just pop out of you. Like, they're surprised. I was like, okay, let me write this down. I can't write this down fast enough. That was really good. But we're going to dive into relationships. And Lisa has given us some amazing questions for this evening to just get into relationships. Let's start off with this one. How to find the right one after divorce. Now, that's really good, Mason. That's a good one. Let's see what we can pull out of you. What chicken nuggets can we get out of you this evening?
The problem with divorce emotionally is that it's such a drain on your body and your spirit and your heart. You come out of divorce with all these wounds on you from divorce. If you can start forgiving and letting go, even when you're done wrong, even when you know you've been beaten up by the courts, you've been beaten up by all the garbage that goes on, you're broke, you got all this stuff happen, the lawyer's taking advantage of you. It doesn't last forever. It is a healing part. You do come out of it. It's not forever. You're only in the valley of the shadow of death. You're not residing there. You're going through the valley of the shadow of death. If we can go into divorce knowing that the relationship is soured and we're not going to get along, it's a cliche, but say, let's just get along. We're not going to get along. But there is another side of it. And you come out of that less wounded, and then you're able to have someone else into your heart because that last person was in your heart at one time. That last person you loved at one time. That last person you trusted at one time, and it turned out wrong. And now you start self-doubting yourself about what you're going to do, how you're going to work out. Maybe he's going to do this. Maybe they're going to do that. You got to trust yourself. You got to trust your heart. And nothing lasts forever. The bad stuff will be healed. Your kids will be 18 one day, and you can see them when you feel like seeing them. All that stuff. So how you find another spouse is to prepare yourself for the other spouse that come into your life. The worst thing you can do is be so angry at the ex that you chop up the next.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
What's his
Angry at the ex and chop up the necks. Let me write that down. See, that's a chicken nugget right there.
All right, a chicken nugget. You had a good week, Sister Kimberly?
Yes, I've had a great week, Mason. It's really been good. We had a tornado touchdown here last night, but other than that, we made it. We survived. A few buildings are down.
Oh, man. Well,
Wow.
that's a great question. By the way, you can always ask us questions. You can send emails to mason@leavetheplantation.org or mason at, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, mason@revelationgospelministries.org, and it gets to me. Any questions you have? What's next, Mr. Lisa? See, I call her Mona Lisa because she's perfect and flawless and no need, no touch up, or nothing else. That's Mona Lisa.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Mona Lisa.
What can people expect after a honeymoon?
Wow. I don't know. My honeymoon never ended, so I'm not sure what to expect.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Hey, I'm just being honest. It never ended. It never ended. It was a continual work of art. It was continually built and shaped. We continue to explore each other and learn about each other. It was a wonderful experience when you have two people that really are basically interested in the lifestyle of the other. I suggest that after the honeymoon, well, I used to do wedding videos where I take weddings and church events. And I was the only person in the wedding
Oh,
that actually came down and talked to the bride before the wedding, talked to the bride and groom after the honeymoon to give my tape to them. So I see them after. I noticed something. Your first argument tends to be on your honeymoon. Your first argument as a couple tends to be on your honeymoon. Here's why.
wow.
Usually the bride is hustling behind that wedding. She's got to find the flower girl. She got to find the caterer. She has to find the location, the church, the pastor. She got to get her dress for her bridesmaids. She got to run around and do all that. And the wedding day, she gets no sleep after the bachelorette party night before. And everybody's fussing over her and she's crying and she's nervous and she's tensed up and the dude sitting back there kicking back, no problems. He's waiting for the honeymoon. She's working for the wedding. He's waiting on the honeymoon. So when they go on the honeymoon, she's tired. He's excited. You hear me?
That's true.
He's excited.
That's true.
And now
Yes.
this bride is finally free. She's tired, worn out. She's tired and upset.
You don't look at it that way.
Huh? So that's the marriage starts after the honeymoon. So what I told these guys to do before the wedding, I said, listen, guys, sit down and write each other a love letter. Tell each other what you like about them, how you feel,
Wow.
how you deal with them. And my wedding video, I interviewed everybody at the church and we let them talk about the couples as they grew up. And then we start talking to the mothers and fathers and we interviewed them last. We asked them, how did you fall in love with him? How did you know he was the right guy? What is it about him that you like? And that's played when they get back from the honeymoon. So it rekindles the love. But I asked them to write themselves a love letter and mail it to themselves so it's home when they get home to get back on track.
That's a good point. You might have to
Wow,
talk
that's
about that one
good.
again on another call.
Make her do it again.
Yes,
I get in more trouble.
that's real good.
That's a good. That's a good.
Weddings are very, very stressful for the bride, and it's irritating for the groom because he's got to pay for this stuff probably, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he just told where to stand. But after the wedding, mama feet hurt, her back hurt, she's tired, stressed out, and you better act like you know it. Don't be told, brother. Don't be told. Know it. don't let her tell you.
Wow, that's a good way to look at that. Hadn't thought about that before.
Well, it's important.
Yes. Okay.
Creatures. What else, Mona Lisa?
Well, I hate to put a damper in that lovely honeymoon, but that first fight at the honeymoon, how would you suggest dealing with that?
Duck. But first, the gentleman has to know how much stress she's going over. And he has to recognize the honeymoon night is not the first night. The honeymoon, the first night,
Both of them.
you better be hugging and snuggling. You better just, and let her take the lead in that. Don't put no pressure on her because she's your wife now and all that stuff. That first night, you better give to her. And you may want to just give her a massage, hug her, snuggle with her, put on some fireplace, drink some wine, lay there and mind your own business. Because if you put any more pressure, she's probably already said the next person obsessed with me it's gonna be you. It's gonna be you. Take that first night, brother. It's a night of conversation, the foundation, the plans, how great the wedding was, how beautiful she looked. And by the way, start telling her she's beautiful at the reception. So don't hang with your friends, don't hang with your buddies. You keep your hands so you walk around, let her walk around with you holding her hands, and you tell her at every table in front of her friends how gorgeous she is, how wonderful she looks. What a great picked out.
That's good.
That starts the honeymoon right
That's
there.
really good.
You better start it right there. And then when you get to that hotel, you cater to her. She's tired, her feet hurt, her back hurts. She haven't slept all night. Trust me, she has not slept all night. She's up, she's dealing with all these people at the wedding, and you just make sure that you're the strength, you're the comforter. Have a video out. Keep your hands on her. Keep your hands on her. Make sure she feels your touch all evening, in the dance floor, everywhere else. And then when you go home, you get to the hotel room, you let her know that you know she's tired. You let her know that you know she's going through a whole lot. You did a great job that wedding, baby. The reception was wonderful. It's perfect. You look gorgeous and perfect. Your hair is great. I know you got to be tired, girl. You tired, girl? Why don't we just sit up all night and talk about what we're going to do in the next 20 years of our life? Let's do that. And then let her fall asleep on your lap. And then for the next 20 years, you got a woman who knows you love her. Change your whole life, brother. Anything else?
Oh, that's a good answer. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So financial.
Yes.
Finances in a marriage usually is one of those high contentious points.
Yeah, because you buy anything on sale. You buy anything that's on sale. When you need it or not, it doesn't matter if you need it. It doesn't matter. It's on sale. I got to get it. I'm sorry. What's your question, dear?
Well, what should a couple do to make sure that they are able to wave the storms of the financial differences? Is that always taken care of during counseling, or what kind of ground rules should be taken care of?
I personally can't stand counseling. We got God in our life. That's the counselor. I don't need to go to some professional. But what I would do is put a major goal on the family. We want to buy a home, sweetheart. We want to have retirement in 30 years, sweetheart. Let's make sure that we're aiming at that. Not your new dress, not the new furniture, not the vacation with mama's house. Let's make sure we got a kitty going, a goal we're adding to it. So we both can see it growing. We both can see it moving along. So get a big financial goal that you're aiming at as a couple and put that money there first. And then you budget for the shopping, because you and her both shop. She shops differently than you do. She buys shoes. You buy football tickets to go to the game. But it's still putting the money in places that you don't have to have it. But you both want that new home. You both want to retire in the Bahamas. You both want certain goals that cost a lot. You want to put your kids through college. Our goal, my wife and I's goal, was to leave something for our grandkids. And we set aside things just for our grandkids. I want my third generation, my great grandkids to know who I am. And the reason we don't all know who our great grandparents are is because they did not leave us an inheritance. I intend for my kids to know who I am, because I'm leaving them something. And we're sitting down thinking about that. So the money things, my wife is very good at being thrifty, because we had things that we had agreed to with that money. We had a 30-year plan that she was going to retire debt-free. So you can't retire debt-free if you're buying new cars every year and going on vacation every year. So we that goal, that financial goal, kept the spending down, kept the budget in some control, not all control, but some control. Anything else?
Do you have any new visitors in your waiting?
I know I don't see any. I know Don is
Shirley,
on his way.
I can see the chat on the side here. I don't know why can I see the chat, because I know that
Either
Shirley may have
not an
Shirley may have a question, and I do not know how to bring up anything for that. So Shirley, if you want to text, Lisa on the same page or something, maybe you can do that. If you have any questions for us, I'm not even sure if I can hear her. Let me see. I want to ask her to unmute, and so I'm asking her to unmute in case she can. But I think she wants to send messages to us, but I cannot see that. So I'm sorry, dear. If you're trying to send us a message, you can always text Lisa. Any other questions? I got something I want to say.
Oh, because I have plenty of questions.
Okay,
I'd like to get them all recorded.
ask the questions.
Okay. Now that we've talked about finances, which was a good answer, or that's helpful to have some kind of goals. I remember my husband and I, we had goals, and that helped. He stated his goals more than I did, but at any rate,
You kept forgetting, probably. You probably kept forgetting.
no, I was thankful for it, because I was okay to not have to take care of all the bills and do all that stuff. I was glad to pass that to him. And I was glad to get an allowance. Thank you very much. So
allowance. I never thought about that.
anyway,
Could have worked.
What's that?
I never thought about an allowance. That could have worked. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, we shut the credit cards. We shut the bank accounts. It just wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe we can talk more about finances. I'm sure someone else will have more specific questions about that. But the next question is infidelity. How would you recommend a couple deal with infidelity unexpected? I guess it's always unexpected, but well, I wouldn't say it's always, but when it's unexpected, what should they do as far as what God would want them to do?
Well, God always wants us to forgive, but it's very, very difficult because that requires also trust. You have to restore the trust, and that's going to take sitting down and have already established a means of communication. You have to always practice on how you and when you communicate. And if you get that situated, then you can sit down and talk about, because usually an honest conversation, will reveal some things about that incident. If it's a guy, it's usually she meant nothing to me because she probably meant nothing to him. But with a woman, if you cheat on a woman, she has to be emotionally connected to you to let you sleep with her, because you're bigger, stronger. She has to have a physical, emotional connection to you. So therefore, she's going to think you must have a connection to that woman. You must love her. You must be excited about her. But men, we don't have to even know you. We don't have to even like you. But that your wife won't think that. She's going to think you love this woman. On her side, if she has an affair on you, it's probably also, it's just a romantic little thing she's doing. It's something that she needs or craves. It's something that for some reason, and you have to take her in your arms and take all the blame. If she has an affair, you have to take all the blame. You got to say, this is my marriage. I'm the king. Only the king can lose his kingdom. What did I do to cause this? What did I do to get you to walk away from me? What did I do? And that's difficult for a man. We got big egos. We got masculine male egos. It's tough. But if you want your woman back, if you want her in your life, you got to forgive her. I used to tell my wife that there was nothing. Matter of fact, I did on the radio. I would end the program every night by saying there's nothing my wife can do to get me to divorce her, because she was given me by God. And if God gave me a gift, I'm not going to turn it back. I would always get a phone call from somebody that said, Mason, what if you go home tonight and she's in bed with somebody else? Well, he will die a slow, painful, bloody death. But I'll take my wife in my arms and I have to forgive her and walk through this. That's what God does us. There's nothing we can do to get God to forsake us. and put us away. And I'm the Christ figure in the marriage. So I have to be totally prepared to forgive her. And if you give that wife that kind of freedom, make sure you got the right wife because she's now free to do everything. But most women would be so appreciative of that stance that she would love even more. And that's what you really want. Kim, are you back?
Wow.
You still there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I was writing.
Okay, she was
I was
writing.
trying to write down some of these things.
Mason,
Um,
can
and-
you look at your settings? There's some people that are trying to
To get in?
get in. Yes.
I don't know how to find them. Participants, I got 4. Invite, I don't know.
Okay, never mind. Let's just go on to another
Okay.
question. You said it's always the man's fault. Now, what if it's the woman who? I wasn't even specific. What if it's the woman who committed?
Baby, it's somebody has to take authority over the family. The man is the king, and only the king can lose his kingdom. So, for a woman to cheat, usually a female would prefer one man. She preferred to be in love with one man and be in the care of one man. And if she strays from that, there's the emotional connection that you probably have not fulfilled. And even if it's not, it still has to be your problem. You can't blame your wife. Adam tried to blame Eve. That woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit and I ate. That's just how it is. But God punished the earth for Adam's sake, not Eve's sake. It is our kingdom and our responsibility to keep that kingdom. And once your wife understands that, usually a female, man, she's just happy to be with one man. That's enough. She's content. We're the
yes, it is.
we're the crazy ones that want to be men sit back and say, I love her, but I wonder how good she is. Because we crazy. We have no sense. Women are content. They got what they want until we mess up some kind of way. And usually it's emotional. Usually, that's what I tell these guys, keep your hands on your woman. Keep your hands on her. When you're in bed at night, snuggle, put your hands on her. She ain't going nowhere. She feels safe, content, and loved. That's all they want is to be loved. That's all they want. And they be content and they be happy. And guess what, gentlemen? You will be happy also.
What about the man that makes the woman feel intimidated by her performance?
Make the woman feel intimidated? I can't even comprehend that. What do you mean? What do you mean?
By her performing in the bedroom.
Her lack of performance? Usually a woman's lack of performance is due to your lack of performance as a man.
Well,
Usually
you sound easy.
sound easy. No, you in the I mean, in the bed, it's the only dance that a woman is supposed to lead. That's the only dance that she is supposed to lead.
We need a part 2 of this discussion. I'm sorry. Go on. Yes, go on.
Here's why. Think about it for a second. And I'm glad, as I mentioned in my opening, this is adult conversation with grown folks. There's a reason why women can have multiple orgasms because they're supposed to. They're supposed to. I mean, that's why you can. You're supposed to. So therefore, if the man loves his woman and he knows that she was required to have multiple orgasms, then that means you have to have the last one. You can't have the first one because you're done. So you have to be able to spend all that time in bed woman is a very complicated instrument, and you're the master musician. You have to play that instrument, learn it, and play it properly, and then put it away properly. So it's important that the man recognize you have a very complicated creature in your bed with you. And she requires some emotional, physical stimulation to act right. And it's up to you. It's not up to her. She cannot act right herself. You have to figure out how to have her relaxed enough to enjoy your company. But she leads the dance. She leads the dance. And if she's comfortable, if she's secure enough in giving you that power and relaxed enough, then the sex life is just going to be something you never experienced in life before, because that's a dance. You're both dancing, and it ends miraculously. I don't know how God did that, but he thought about how good. That's why we call his name out, because if you're doing it right, if you surrender your body to her, she will surrender her body to you. And that is something that a girlfriend cannot do. A girlfriend cannot do
No,
what a wife can do. Uh, incapable of doing what a wife.
that's good.
So if you want real sex, it's got to be husband and wife sex, because boyfriend and girlfriend sex, they won't hit the mark for you, brother.
Wow, that's a good point. I'm definitely going to have to send this out so that people can hear this video,
Okay.
because some of the ones that are trying to get in are having some technical difficulties getting them in because the indication doesn't show up.
Mhm.
So that's a good question. I would like to elaborate more on that so that our community can learn a lot more about men and women. Wouldn't you say, Kim? That was a good answer. I could
Yes,
write it.
that was really good.
I don't
Yes,
know.
good question.
I don't know who's asking what question when we both trying to write it down. My bad. And I'm trying to figure out how to get some of these people in.
That's too
I
bad.
know. No, they want to hear this. This is really, really good.
Let's talk about the baby. So when the love life is so great, then of course, there comes the baby. Now,
It
a
also
woman's
comes
body
when bad, too.
changes and her emotions change. What's that?
It also comes when you're bad at it too.
Oh, well, that's true. That definitely will make a change on the love life.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yes. Yes.
Can you speak to that while I go on and try and figure out how to get these people in?
Yes.
And you can also comment on whatever you
Yep.
said that you needed to talk about.
Now, Lisa, you may want to try to do it yourself, like you're doing the program yourself. I know you have control over it. You may have to do it yourself. It is in 10 minutes, by the way. I just got a warning from our friends at Zoom. Babies come along. First off, you love each other. You now reproduced each other. That is an emotional connection to that child that is one of the strongest connections in the world. So now your love has extended to another creature that you have created together that needs you totally, that needs your attention totally. Both of you are going to be worn out from that child. And because you love each other and you love what you've created together, you're able to give up the physical attraction to each other and put that time and effort into that child. But you have to maintain the connection to husband and wife. That is your wedding. That is your marriage. But that child, 3 o'clock feeding comes up, you're going to take turns, change your diapers, you're going to take turns, burping and serping and everything else, you're going to take turns. Breakfast in the morning with the serpents, you're going to take time, you're going to take them onesies and twosies and walk about the baby and the carrot. You're going to do all that all day long. You're going to come to bed tired, worn out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, if you're used to snuggling, that's good enough. That's good enough. And that's why children tend to come every 2 years. So you want 1 year for yourself, you know?
Now you tell us. Now you tell us.
You need a year for yourself. So the baby is a thrill for the marriage, but the real thrill is when you get done and lay down that bed together. That is the real thrill. The man gives the woman strength and energy. She gets strength and energy from you. Gentlemen, that's her food. So make sure that she has got to the point in life that she is having a great time, because then you would have a great time also.
Okay. That concludes my questions.
In conclusion of questions, well, we have 8
Yes.
minutes. So I know that Sister Kimberly has a question or two.
Oh man, yeah. Piggyback off a lot of what you said.
Kimberly, do I see a
On spirit, we have to probe.
feather duster in your house in your hand, girl? You doing housework?
Oh, that's my. That's my.
I thought Mr. had
That's my.
housework. I'm sorry.
Well, this we're gonna call this segment housework. How about
Housework.
that?
What's your question, dear? Still there? So what happened?
I just want to hear more about it. That's intriguing. Just to hear more.
Let's hear what. Yeah, I want to say before we end it for the night. Um, let's first understand the reason we're talking about this right now is there's something called the battle of the sexes, and it's a false statement. There is no battle.
Oh yeah.
There is no battle. Um, the fight is between us and God. God laid out plans. God laid out authority. God laid out responsibilities for males and females to live together in harmony and love. And when we go out that line He gave for us, there is a conflict. And we say the conflict is between man and woman, the battle of the sexes. It does not exist. We're fighting God. We're disobedient to God.
Wow.
Women don't want to submit, not because man says so, but because God said so. Man had nothing to do with that. It wasn't our fault. We didn't accept the command. We didn't say we got this thing, we're the boss. We didn't say none of that. God said He shall rule you. He said He could or should or maybe or sometimes He said He's gonna rule you. And women don't like it because they're being punished, and no one wants to be punished, and they're going to fight man because they can't fight God. And then men don't have respect for women because women are basically they're constantly pulling against men. Women make men do things that we don't want to do. So we are constantly resenting them, and women are too easily available now without a commitment, call them girlfriends, easily available, and we can use them for sex only. And if we're having sex only with you, we ain't gonna take care of the babies, we're not gonna take care of the community. A good example, in the inner city, gangs and police, they're both aggressive, they're both tough, they're both highly masculine in their thought patterns, but the gang members are usually single and the cops are usually married. And when you got married men in the community, where those cops live, the women are pretty safe. But you have unmarried men in the community, like the gang members, the women are usually unsafe because that masculinity is not geared at protecting the children, protecting the community, protecting the neighborhood. It's not into that. It's turning it down. But in a community of married men, everybody is safer. Everybody's taken care of. So women need to, you guys, your greatest gift to children is your choice of who their daddy gonna be. That's the greatest gift to your children.
Wow.
That is the greatest gift to your kids. So you can't make a boy into a man because he gave you a baby. You gotta make a man qualified before he can give you a baby. And if women understood that is the choice you have. If he ain't taking care of you, he will not take care of your child. He will not take care of your child. So that's the decision that women have to make, because we will take you, because we love you. You are made by God for us. We'll take you before we earn you. We will take you before you qualify us. We will gladly take you. We have to treat you in such a way that you are convinced that we give our life for you. If you could, but you got to put away that little game you put on yourself, because we will lie to you to lie with you. We will lie to you because you reward the best liar. You reward the best liar. So ladies, stop being lied to. See, 100 years ago, you had daddy and uncle and cousins and brothers that would stop that mess before it got started. They'll take the guy on a ride in the woods so he gets lost. But today, the guys can't protect you. Your brothers cannot protect you because they're doing the same thing to his sister down the street. Because we don't have manhood being praised anymore. Manhood is being ridiculed now. So men don't know what to do with ourselves. So that's why we're so crazy. Any other questions? What? Give me George. We're gonna write a book, folks, called Can Your King Find Us? We're gonna write a book. Miss Kimberly has made me write a book. It's her fault. She mandated it. No choice at all. So we're gonna put the book together on things that we talked about, things you want to know. Maybe we just call it Raunchy. What do you think? It'd be a good name for the book? Raunchy.
Yes, it'll make everybody pick it up.
Yeah, that is funny. Okay, if that's the point, you're right.
That's what we're gonna do then. Coming out this winter, probably, if I get on the game plan of it. I apologize to all you folks out there that were trying to get on and could not get on. We do not know what happened. We did try something, and it was with Lisa and me trying to co-host her behind the scenes and me on it. That may be what the problem was. I don't know. But we will fix it for next week. Bring your friends back with you. I'll make sure that everyone is involved. Ask your questions now, put them online, give them to us. We'll chew on them. I don't usually see them until the day of the program. And if you have anybody else, anything else we can do for you on this end, we're here to start a conversation. We want everyone to be happy and in love, and hopefully to pass that love on. We will rule this country if we actually believe God. Anything else?
Family.
And what?
That's very good. We would rule the world if our families were situated correctly.
Yes.
Next week, I would like us to talk about why is it so hard for women in their 50s and 60s and maybe even 70s to find husbands.
Good topic. That is a good topic. I appreciate it. We got 30 seconds left, so I'll see you guys next week. Take care of yourself. Stay right or be left. Eternity is a long time to be wrong. Take care, folks.